Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode. So this episode is a tribute to Caravaggio. We're going to do two looks. We're going to do one by candlelight, and we're going to do one with a strobe. Okay, so we're going to do two different subsets of the tribute. Okay, so let's talk a little bit how all this began. So 2010, I was stationed at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and it was a day off, and I wanted to go to the Nelson-Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City. And they have different wings. The museum has different wings for different time periods. Like there's modern art, there's the Renaissance and the Baroque. So I'm in the I forgot which wing it is. It's either Renaissance or Baroque. And there was a Caravaggio, and I honestly froze in my tracks. It was that beautiful. I was transfixed on this John the Baptist painting, and it's rather large. There are only two paintings in my whole life that actually froze me as I stood. It was a painting called Flowers in a Vase. I believe that's the name of it. It was at the Detroit Institute of Arts by Rachel Royce, and then now this Caravaggio, John the Baptist. So I said, wow, the use of light and dark, okay, it was just phenomenal. So since 2010, I've been a huge fan of Caravaggio. So his real name is Michaelangelo Merisi de Caravaggio. The Caravaggio means like basically from Caravaggio. It's a village about 20 miles east of Milan, okay. So one who follows that form is called a Caravaggisti. So I am proudly declare myself a Caravaggisti. So I love his work and I want to emulate his work. Again, it's a tribute to him, this use of extreme lights and darks. Okay, so the two movements that grew out of that, they're called chiaroscuro and tenebrism. So tenebrism is kind of a subset of chiaroscuro. So we're going to do two looks here. So you can just stay there, Mom. So I have a D750, my full frame Nikon. I have a Yongnuo wireless transmitter, and I'm using a 50 1.8 prime, so it's a very affordable lens. I've got a big 24-70, but I didn't want to use it on this ball head because it's so top heavy, it wants to pull the ball head down. So I just shot with the 50 1.8 prime. Okay, here we did a lot of different looks. Let me step out of frame just for a second here. So we did some different looks. We did, you can come in a little closer, Mom. So we did candles, we did candlelight, we did some flowers on the table, and we did some flowers in a vase. We've got a black muslin backdrop here with spring clips holding it, so that we tried this last night, and it didn't work because there was too much light being reflected on the wall. So I had to go to my self-storage cubicle and get my backdrop. So we had to postpone the shoot 24 hours until I could get this cloth. So in the day, so just to cover this, in the daytime we can use the strobe if you're going to do it by strobe, because the strobe it will overwhelm ambient light, like light in a room. Okay, so if you want to do these kind of shoots, if you're going to do the real candlelight, you literally have to wait for nighttime or somehow seal all the light out, because the only thing that can illuminate the model is actual candlelight, and ambient light, your lighting in your rooms, will interfere with that. So you really have to do these at night, unless you have a studio with no windows. But again, for the average person, hobbyist, enthusiast, you just have to wait for nightfall so that there's no ambient light leaking into the room. With the strobe, I'm at f4. And let's talk about this real quick. Here, so let's cover this. Can you come over here? So let's show them. Watch the camera. Come on over here, honey. Okay, so I have an Alien Beast B400, and I'm almost at minimum power. I'm actually at the second to the lowest power setting. Come over here, honey. So we got a cable onto another Yongnuo wireless transmitter, and let's show them this here. So I've got a grid. I've got a 10-degree grid here, and a 7-inch reflector. This is an Alien Beast 7-inch reflector, and I'm using a 10-degree grid. Okay, because I want the light very canalized, right? Channeled. I don't want a wide cone, I want a very tight cone. So we're using a 10-degree grid. So that's about it. We've done both shoots. I'm happy with the results. And let me show them this. So this is kind of critical, because your light, the light, we've talked about this before, about the exact placement of light. So the great thing about a C-stand is you wouldn't believe how much of a difference that made in the shoot, just from playing with the light. you vary the amount of light that's striking the table. Okay, so you can control the amount of light that's hitting the model's head and on the table. So if you're down like this, it's more, you get more light on the table. You raise it, lock it into place. The light changes. The whole mood changes. There's more light striking the model and less on the table. So again, that's why I get back to the C-stand. You could do it with a regular light stand, but you just have so much mobility in the C-stand. So I think I've covered everything. Let's see. Oh, I do want to apologize about my attire. I'm just in sweatpants because I want to be relaxed and comfortable in this shoot. And so again, we just finished up, and that's why I don't look too presentable. But again, I ask your forgiveness that I'm not properly attired right now. Okay, we'll talk about the settings. So the strobe, I had it set for f4, shutter 1/125. Now we talked about this before. Maybe in 2014 I made a video about the best in the tutorials on YouTube. And do you remember I talked about photographers generally fall into two camps. You fall into the School of Engineering or the School of Fine Arts. Now I took my light meter, I fired the strobe, and it metered at f4. Now if I were to set my camera to f4, the image would have been grossly overexposed, and the whole chiaroscuro tenebrism would have been lost. The image would have been overexposed, way too much light in there. I stop down to f8 and f11. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 8, 11. So the sweet spot for this shoot using the strobe was between 8 and 11. So that's -2 and -3 stops. Okay, so I didn't set the camera and the strobe to be synced with each other. I actually dialed the camera down -2 stops and -3 stops to get the mood, to get that mood I was looking for in the shoot. Okay, so again, I encourage you if you're, the fine art mentality is put the camera wherever it needs to be to match your artistic vision. So just because the two settings match, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in accordance with your artistic vision. Okay, so tweak everything. Tweak the strobe, tweak the camera, tweak the lighting, do what you need to do so that going into the shoot you have a vision of how you wanted it to look. And if your images, as you're looking at the images, if they're not matching, then you know you need some tweaking, right? I got to move some stuff around because it's not matching my vision. When it matches your vision, then you have that eureka moment. Okay, this is fantastic. Now I'm achieving my creative visualization. Okay, now I'm going to post all the pictures. I need to edit them in post, and then I'm going to go ahead and post them here. Okay, thank you.